The sun was just beginning to set over Maple Street as Joe pulled into the gravel driveway of his childhood home. It had been 20 years since he'd last visited, not since the summer of '78, when the neighborhood kids ruled the block and life seemed endless. Stepping out of his old Chevy, the familiar scent of freshly cut grass and blooming lilacs greeted him, instantly transporting him back to those carefree days. Joe remembered how every evening, after school, he and his friends would gather at Mrs. Miller's porch, sharing stories and dreams under the glow of the porch light. They'd pass around a well-worn baseball, imagining themselves as heroes in games that stretched late into the night. The sound of distant laughter and the occasional bark of a dog were the soundtrack of their youth. Inside, the house was just as he remembered. The living room still held the same floral wallpaper, faded from years of sun exposure, and the old record player sat in the corner, silent but full of memories. He wandered through the rooms, touching the furniture that once held family dinners and holiday gatherings. Each space was a snapshot of simpler times, when worries were few, and the biggest concern was whether the ice cream truck would make it to their street. Joe made his way to the backyard, where the old oak tree stood proud and sturdy. It was under this tree that he had his first kiss, and where they had carved their initials, proclaiming a love that felt eternal. Now, as he sat on the swing, gently swaying back and forth, he could almost hear the echoes of those joyous afternoons. As night fell, the streetlights flickered on, casting a warm glow on the homes around him. Joe felt a deep sense of nostalgia, a yearning to relive those moments that shaped who he had become. The challenges of the present seemed distant, overshadowed by the cherished memories of the past. He knew that no matter how much time passed, Maple Street would always hold a special place in his heart, a testament to the enduring spirit of those golden years. Joe lingered on the swing, the cool evening air brushing against his skin. As he gazed up at the sprawling branches of the oak tree, memories intertwined with his present thoughts. The contrast between the vibrant life of his youth and the responsibilities he now bore was stark. He recalled the endless summer nights filled with laughter, the simplicity of friendships that felt unbreakable, and the dreams that seemed just within reach. A soft rustling nearby drew his attention to the edge of the yard, where the old community center once stood. Memories of volunteering, organizing neighborhood events, and the collective spirit that bound everyone together surfaced vividly. He remembered Mrs. Thompson, the dedicated coordinator, whose unwavering commitment had made the center a haven for all ages. The center had been more than a building. It was the heartbeat of Maple Street, fostering connections and nurturing aspirations. Joe's thoughts deepened as he considered the passage of time. The innocence of childhood had given way to the complexities of adulthood, bringing both achievements and regrets. He pondered the friendships that had faded, the opportunities he had missed, and the person he had become. Yet, amidst these reflections, a sense of gratitude emerged. The lessons learned and the values instilled during those formative years had shaped his resilience and compassion. The fading light cast long shadows across the yard, symbolizing the blend of past and present that defined Joe's journey. He realized that while he couldn't reclaim those lost moments, their essence remained a part of him. This realization sparked a desire to reconnect, to revisit not just the places but the relationships that had once been so integral to his life. As the first stars began to twinkle in the twilight sky, Joe made a silent vow. He would honor his past by embracing the present, rekindling old friendships, and contributing to the community that had played such a pivotal role in his upbringing. Standing up from the swing, he took one last look around, feeling a renewed sense of purpose and belonging. With a final deep breath, Joe started toward the house, carrying the warmth of his memories and the hope for new beginnings. The night enveloped Maple Street, but within Joe, a spark ignited, a blend of nostalgia and determination to weave his past into the fabric of his future. Joe walked through the familiar path to his house, each step echoing the rhythm of his thoughts. The streetlights flickered softly, casting pools of light that mingled with the shadows of his memories. As he approached his porch, the quiet hum of the neighborhood at night provided a comforting backdrop to his resolve. He paused, taking in the sight of his home, a sanctuary that had witnessed his growth, his struggles, and his triumphs. Inside, the house was still, but Joe could feel the presence of his past in every room. He moved to his study, where old photo albums lay scattered on the desk. Picking one up, he traced his fingers over the images of friends long gone and moments cherished. Each picture was a testament to the bonds that time had tested but not broken. A smile touched his lips as he remembered the faces, each one a chapter in his story. Determined, Joe reached for his phone and scrolled through forgotten contacts. Names and numbers stared back at him, a list of potential reconnections. He hesitated for a moment, the weight of years pressing down, but then began dialing the first number. The phone rang, and his heart pounded with a mix of anxiety and hope. When the call was answered, a familiar voice greeted him, tentative yet warm. Relief washed over him as they caught up, laughter bridging the gap that time had created. Emboldened by the success, Joe made a plan. He would organize a gathering at the old community center site, transforming it into a space for rekindling friendships and fostering new connections. The idea took root, growing into a beacon of his renewed purpose. Days turned into weeks as he reached out, spreading the word and igniting interest among his old neighbors. The night of the reunion arrived, and the site was brought back to life with lights and decorations. Faces from the past filled the space, each one carrying stories of their own. As Joe stood before the crowd, he felt the culmination of his journey, a moment where past and present converged. The air was filled with laughter, shared memories, and the promise of new beginnings. In that vibrant gathering, Joe found not only a sense of belonging, but also the affirmation that his vow had set him on a path of meaningful connections and a future intertwined with the essence of his cherished past. As the evening progressed, the energy at the community center surged. Conversations flowed effortlessly, and old jokes resurfaced, bringing bursts of laughter that echoed against the walls. Joe moved through the crowd, reconnecting with each person, their stories intertwining with his own. He listened intently as others shared their journeys, the challenges they had overcome, and the dreams they still pursued. The air was thick with nostalgia and the excitement of rekindled relationships. Halfway through the night, a moment of reflection captured everyone's attention. Joe stepped onto a makeshift stage, the soft glow of the lights highlighting his thoughtful expression. He began to speak, his voice steady but heartfelt. "Tonight isn't just about remembering the past," he said. "It's about honoring the connections that have shaped us and embracing the future we can build together." His words resonated deeply, sparking a collective sense of unity. One by one, others stood to share their own reflections, each testimony weaving a richer tapestry of their shared history. The peak of the evening came as fireworks illuminated the night sky, symbolizing the bright possibilities that lay ahead. Cheers erupted, and the crowd felt a profound sense of belonging and hope. As the night drew to a close, Joe looked around at the smiling faces, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. The reunion had achieved more than he had imagined. It had reignited a community spirit and reinforced the importance of cherished connections. People began to make plans for future gatherings, inspired by the night's success. Walking home under the now steady streetlights, Joe felt lighter, his heart brimming with gratitude. He realized that by reaching out, he had not only reconnected with others, but also rediscovered a part of himself that thrived on meaningful relationships. The journey had reaffirmed his belief in the power of community and the enduring strength of bonds forged over time. In that moment, Joe understood that his vow had led him to a transformative path. The reunion was not an end, but a beginning, a testament to the resilience of friendships and the endless possibilities that come from embracing both the past and the present. As he entered his home, the lights warmly welcoming him, Joe felt confident that his future was now beautifully intertwined with the lives of those he held dear.